Hi, this is Dr. Stephen with Outclick Magazine. This Tuesday, December 1st, 2020, is World AIDS Day. Our own Galleria at Fort Lauderdale will be bringing to us Rock the Ribbon. To talk about the day, we are welcoming Dr. Requel Lopes, who is Executive Director and CEO of the World AIDS Museum and Educational Center here in Fort Lauderdale, and Michael Goodman, who is the owner and founder of Goodman PR. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. We're excited about the morning out at the Galleria. But before we get to that, Raquel, tell us about the World AIDS Museum. You've got a new location, and tell us about the museum for somebody who may not have been there before.
Well, I'll go back. We've been in existence for almost 6 years now. And we started by having a group of men who were doing a support group called Pause Attitudes. And they all thought that it was important to continue to talk about HIV. And they had found that they were finding that people weren't really engaged in the conversation with HIV. And so over a period of time, they put together what is our signature piece, the chronology of HIV, that really juxtaposes popular culture with what was happening with HIV. And from those beginnings, we have grown into a museum and educational center that offers the community locally as well as nationally and internationally as we grow, an opportunity to talk about the history of HIV as a pandemic that has been in our world for almost 40 years now. And so what we really do is really talk about and really start and continue the conversation around HIV stigma, as well as putting it together with arts. And I think that when you talk about HIV as a topic, a lot of people get scared. They don't really want to talk about it as much. But when you put it in with art and you talk about it in a way that people feel disarmed, I would say, it gives them an opportunity to really ask probing questions. We have kids come through asking questions about HIV. Even today, to give you an example, I had a gentleman, he's 17, 18, who was coming in for a class project, who even as of last year was asking questions about how do you contract HIV. Now, it's not that people don't know about HIV. I think that people are lulled into a sense of security that they think that they don't have chances of getting HIV, and that people are afraid to talk about it even today. And so we continue the history, the story of HIV. We do oral history project where we ask people to come in and tell their stories. We do our, we call it the spotlight, where we take people from the community, whether it's locally or nationally, and we talk about how they got involved with HIV, what does HIV mean to them, and what kinds of messages they would like to talk about. And so it gives people an opportunity to see people of all walks of life talking about HIV. So when you look at it, you may see somebody that looks like you talking about HIV, about their experiences, and some of the people that we've had on were HIV positive, and then talking about their experience finding out that they were positive and what they've done to continue to have good health into this year, as well as talking about the history of what's happening with HIV and the new advances that are coming in injectables or putting things, implantables in your body. And so it's not just medication anymore. I mean, it's not just pills anymore that we're talking about. And we're talking about opportunities for people to get undetectable. And so it's becoming a game changer when you talk about somebody who gets an injectable and is able to have that for 2 months. And then it's not every day anymore. So it's a game changer for HIV, but it's also talking about the history and educating the kids and even adults around HIV that many people still have questions. Many people still don't know the nuts and bolts or don't feel that they're going to be affected by HIV.
Mm. I
Yeah.
think there's been such a cultural shift when, it was first discovered. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of stigma. And then it changed when there was a lot of cocktail drugs. The drugs got better. And then when PrEP came along, and then people became PrEP or undetectable. But there are still pockets of people, as you said, who don't understand transmission. They don't understand about testing. They don't understand
Mhm.
what are all of the options for protection, whether it's whatever means of protection there are. There's still a lot of education to be done, and I think what you all are doing is keeping the conversation going and keeping that conversation to where people
Mhm.
feel comfortable about talking about it, because it seems like it's kind of shifted away from the discussion, and when it shifts away from the discussion is when we start losing the battle.
Right. One of the things that is unfortunate is that we try to involve youth, and we try to involve people who are living with HIV in the conversation and in the dialogue. And we had an opportunity to go to a different platform that was going to be national. And I had some really great people that I was hoping that would be a part of the videotaping. And what we found is that even still today, people were okay with having a small group of people knowing that they're positive, but are not as comfortable knowing that this might be in a larger realm. And so it really still talks to the stigma around HIV and having people know what your status is in the face of all of the work that has been done to try and destigmatize it. Stigma is really still a large component that is involved in the education of HIV and the conversations around HIV.
Yeah.
Tell us about some, Michael, if you want to chime in, you're welcome to. I'm curious about some of the exhibitions you currently have or have had or
Mhm,
planning, and
mhm,
what are some of the goals that you've had of those, and what are some of, this is a three-part question,
mhm,
and then what are some of the actual outcomes you've seen? Do you have success stories that you could share of people who have
mhm.
said, I've walked away changed from
Right.
some of your efforts, Raquel?
Well, one thing I think I glossed over it is that the World AIDS Museum and Educational Center has moved, and we were in Wilton Manors on 26th Street, but now we've moved into the Art Serve complex on Sunrise Boulevard, and that gives us the opportunity to really collaborate with an art scene, as have a different flow of foot traffic. We have Art Serve here that is a incubator of artists, as well as having Stonewall here as well. So there are opportunities for the AIDS Museum to really collaborate with specific artists as well as specific organizations that I think is going to help enrich our story and what we're trying to do here. One of the things that we have started, and our first thing since we've been here, is to come up with the collection by Toby Gottsman Snyder, who it's called The Colors of HIV. And it's a 17-piece collection that talks about HIV from the beginning and really brings home the humanity that HIV really has in how people really interpreted it and how people really dealt with it. We have a piece that's called The Other Ryan White, and that really talks about all the other children that were living with or dying with HIV in the beginning, and how their story wasn't really told in the face of Ryan White. Now, everybody is very happy that Ryan White was able to uplift the story for children specifically, but for HIV in a more broader sense. So we looking at HIV not as uh, something that you should be um, a downer, but more of an empowerment that from where we came from 40 years ago, this is where we are today with HIV. That more people are living with HIV. People are still getting HIV, and Broward County and Dade County go back and forth of being number 1 or number 2 in the amount of new cases. And so that we still have work to do, that we still have HIV as prevalent in our communities.
Mm-hmm. Michael, how did you get involved with this, Michael?
With the Rock the Ribbon?
Rock the Ribbon or the museum, either one.
Well, actually, a lot of people don't know, but back in the 90s, I worked at Broward House and was very involved in the scene of HIV/AIDS. And at Broward House was the volunteer coordinator, was the fundraiser, kind of wore a lot of hats, and it really opened my eyes. And I'm enjoying hearing the discussion here about the conversation continuing, because I do think there's still a stigma. I remember back then in the 90s coming up with a button that we did at Broward House that said, "Don't worry, only men, women, and children can get AIDS," because back then it was so stigmatized that it was only gay men. Mm-hmm. And thank God things have changed and the medications have changed and people can live undetectable and a better life. But I do think that the younger generation, me being 57, I think the 20-year-olds have no thought of where we all came from and where the disease came from. So I applaud Requel and the World AIDS Museum for keeping the conversation going. And how I got involved was little by little, I've been talking with the World AIDS Museum about helping them with some kind of fundraising initiative. And so this idea popped up, and I said, you know what? The Galleria at Fort Lauderdale has done these efforts before. I represent them. Let's come together, and that's where we are. And Requel and I are a good team.
Good.
Absolutely.
December 1st. It's Tuesday, December 1st, 2020. If someone is listening or watches this later on, it's going to be at 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. at our very own, and I love them all, the Galleria out at Fort Lauderdale, 2414 East Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We've got the video. I'm going to go ahead and have Arthur. We've got the website up here with the events. If you can go ahead and play the trailer too. Arthur's helping us out with the video. So if you want to go ahead and play that trailer under 3C, we'll play the video. We'll get that pulled in. It takes just a second. But we've got a really cool video that we've got pulled in, and we're going to go over event. You've got a lot of really cool people that are coming. We're going to go over those in a minute after we watch the trailer. But we're glad to have this. And the Fort Lauderdale, once you go, you'll go back and shopping. There's a lot of food. We've done some interviews there, Michael, with you there at the Galleria. So Arthur's going to pull up the video. Here we go. Very good. I'll go ahead and have Arthur pull up the website again.
Okay.
Michael,
it's good for people to know that it's outdoors. We made it a point to do this event at the mall outdoors, the main entrance in the front, so people can come and feel safe. There's an attention to detail with masks, being required, and people can spread out. There's no seating or chair situation. It's open for people to come and be part of it.
All right, he's going to pull up the website. It's 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. What time does the mall open, Michael? Do you know? Is it open at 10 a.m.? It's going to be open right after?
10. Yeah.
Opens at 10, so you can go over and get your shopping done afterwards. So this is the website.
Holidays are coming. This is the best time to do it.
The holidays are coming. Go right in there and shop. You're exactly right. You're going to have Chuck. Tell us about that, Michael or Requel.
Well, you know what? Let me have Requel do that, because she has a relationship with him, and she can talk better about him than I can.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Chuck came to our museum and donated one of the guitars from the band Styx. So he has a permanent place in our museum. He has done a lot of work with HIV and has really been an advocate for people living with HIV. And so this is a great opportunity to have Chuck come back to the museum and be involved in World AIDS Day in 2020, and it's Rock the Ribbon. And although Rock the Ribbon can mean so many different things to so many different people, for us, it really talks about the influences of music in HIV. We talk about arts in HIV, but music also played an incredible component to HIV, and that there are so many incredible artists that we had who we have lost to HIV. So to us, this is a way in which to give homage to it, to celebrate the lives of people who we have lost to HIV, and also empower the people who are living with HIV. So this is not just about the remembrance, but it's also about the empowerment and honoring the people who are here living with HIV today.
Yeah.
He's going to be a special guest. He doesn't have to travel too far. He is a Fort Lauderdale resident. Right here.
He lives right here in Fort Lauderdale.
He lives right here. You're going to have the chorus. Tell us about the chorus that's going to be there.
Well, the Fort Lauderdale Gay Men's Chorus is, an incredible part of our community, and they are not bringing the entire chorus, but a group of them to perform a song to make this more special. We also added yesterday a young lady by the name of Cami Liz, who has locally been on the circuit, and we wanted to make sure that we appeal to young and old. So Cami Liz will be opening the program.
Okay.
And then third, also exciting for us, is we have Laura Vivas, who is now a Fort Lauderdale resident, and she was on The Voice on Christina Aguilera's team. So she's an amazing vocalist, so she's going to also perform. So as Requel said, music is definitely a part of this. And then one other little element is DJ Alden Brown. Some might know him from him being a South Beach DJ, but he's lending his talents to play some music and help with the sound. And so we have a really nice assortment of musical guests that will definitely be there.
Good. And you've got Congressman Ted Deutsch and Fort Lauderdale Dean Trantalis. Dean is most famous for all the things that he's done. He's been on our cover. That's probably the biggest claim to fame. I'm just kidding, but he was gracious enough back kind of when we started about a year and a half in. Was gracious enough to come and be on our cover, and we get to brag that we had the mayor of Fort Lauderdale on our cover. Work with Dean, and if you know Dean personally, he's a very nice guy. Works very hard. Works very, very hard at what he does, and is very personable. So we're glad that he's going to be a part of it.
Yeah. We're lucky to have him. Yeah.
Yeah, we are very lucky to have him. We're also really lucky to have all the collaborative efforts by all the ASOs and organizations that are working with people living with HIV. And it's an honor to be in the same city, in the same location with all of these organizations who are doing incredible work in our community for people who are living with HIV.
Mm-hmm. I see a lot of common overlap there. We just did Tom, the CEO of Poverello. AHF has been a longtime supporter of ours. We are continually doing deeper dives into what AHF does locally, nationally, and globally. Their work is just fascinating. Like, I'm continually fascinated by just the depth of work that they do. SunServe is here. It looks like the Smart Ride Care resource, which provides, they were on a call on the program the other day for doing primary care. They're helping people who cannot make their house payments and stay home. They're also doing mental health. The Pride Center obviously provides a lot of services here. The Chorus, there's Government PR and the Galleria and several others on there. So you guys have really worked with some really great organizations.
Yeah. We're definitely lucky because, it goes the gamut of services from adults to children, especially working with Children's Diagnostic and Treatment Centers program. So we take care of all people from all walks of life. And I think that's the most important, that we bring community to the World AIDS Day, because it is truly about community.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the 39th year of World AIDS Day, which is pretty amazing. And it's amazing too, like partners like the Galleria come forward. Years ago and over the years, the Galleria has actually hosted World AIDS Day remembrances in a different way. They've had art exhibitions in the mall. They've had quote panels displayed. So we're fortunate right in our own backyard to have that kind of opportunity to partner.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We did the Michael Murphy. He did his photos there. We're talking History Fort Lauderdale is doing an upcoming show there. So the Galleria Fort Lauderdale is not just about shopping. It's also they work very hard for cultural outreach there. And this is what a great idea to do it there under that outdoor pavilion, Michael. This is phenomenal. So we look forward to.
It's so fitting for World AIDS Museum, to be presenting it. I think Requel said it well. It is a collaboration, and them being the education and voice now of HIV in partnership with those providers. This is how the community has grown and developed. It's all about collaboration. So and all Requel, reached out to all of the agencies, and all of them instantly, said yes, and we'll bring our staff, and so that's a testament to where we are in Broward County.
Absolutely.
We need to be the leaders. We have so many visitors that come here, and they will hear the message and take it back. We were on the show the other day, and we pointed out it's not just what we do for the people of Broward County. They're going to be people here who are visiting. They're going to hear this message and take it back to all parts of the country, state, and the world, and hopefully the ripple effect of what we can do, because we are major influencers here in this county because of the people that come and visit your museum.
Absolutely. I will say that the other thing that is so great is that although that the quilt is not able to be circulated this year, we were one of the people who are doing the virtual exhibit of the quilts. For those people who were looking to see which quilts that we chose, this would be a great opportunity to go onto our website and see and be part of that. We also have the Colors of HIV. Coming up in January, we're going to be doing an intersection of COVID and HIV. So there's going to be a photography exhibit as well as documentary information about each person's experience with HIV and COVID. And then in the spring, we're going to do another photography exhibit called Through the White Door, and it's a photography exhibit from a Smiley Pool, who has done some incredible work on children in HIV throughout the world. And so we're really trying to keep the conversation going, and to be able to broaden it so that it encompasses all people, because as we know, HIV does not discriminate, and that everybody can possibly be exposed to HIV. And so the more you know, the more information you know, the more stories and more connections you have. This is the way we start to empower our community as well as to grow together in collaboration.
We were on the program the other day that this message and this curriculum is nowhere in K through 12, and it's nowhere in higher ed. And so how do we educate people on this? It has to be programs like this, because it's not K through 12, and it's also not post-secondary ed. There's nowhere in the curriculum is this ever discussed, and it's so important. Michael, what were you going to say?
No, I'm just excited. Again, it's about collaboration, and education is so key. And I said earlier that, I meet 20-year-olds and younger people who it's just beyond them. That's not going to happen to me, and if it's definitely important to keep the conversation going. Requel knows that personally I'm excited to, be part of this. I miss the days when I was very active in this realm of the world, and it's very satisfying that we're doing this.
Mike,
so everybody come on out. It should be an incredible morning kickoff. It's just a kickoff of many things that will be happening on World AIDS Day.
Very good.
So it's the beginning of many things that the World AIDS Museum and Educational Center will be doing around HIV, especially because the 40 years of HIV is in 2021. So we'll have a lot of programming around that.
And again, that's going to be Tuesday, December 1st, 2020, 8:30 a.m. I'll get the times right this time, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Galleria at Fort Lauderdale. We've got your website, World AIDS Museum. Arthur is going to put up your other social media as well.
So all you have to do is to RSVP for the event is to go to our website, click on the banner, and it will lead you straight to this. So
Okay.
we just like to get a understanding of how many people are coming, and those people that have registered, great. There are so many others that haven't registered, and that is the nature of events.
It's outdoor social distancing, but wear your
Yes.
mask, obviously. But this is a
Yes.
great event.
Yeah.
Arthur's going to put up your other social media as we ask. Is there anything that you wanted to cover that I didn't ask before we wrap up?
One thing that is just, for people that have lost somebody too, there is an opportunity for someone to leave a message. There's an interactive component. So that's just important. As Requel said, it's not only about looking at the past, but also looking about the future. But there is an element for those people that want to express some sentiments to be able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
Absolutely.
good. The last question I've been asking in the broadcast and the program, what words of encouragement can you give watchers or viewers or listeners on the podcast during these unprecedented times? And I'll start with Michael. I'll put you on the spot first.
Oh, okay. So, for me, it's about staying connected. Not because I'm a PR guy, but I think during COVID and quarantine, people got very isolated, and sometimes people have a fear of or just don't reach out and express what they're going through. And this has been for some people devastating. Not being able to work, or fear of losing their apartment or their home, not getting food, whatever it may be. And so for me, it's staying connected. People, I saw on Facebook even yesterday, some folks saying, reach out to someone and just say hello, because some people are still in quarantine. And actually, in the past week, a lot of people that I know have become positive for COVID, and two are very sick right now. And before that, I didn't have the connection, but now I do. So stay connected. Stay connected. Let's all check on each other. And if we're having a bad day or night, let's call a friend and just express our feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Raquel?
I mean, I would echo that, in that you're not alone, that we all have skin in the game, and that the more we're connected, the more we reach out, the stronger we'll be. And that you will see that with connection, there's power. And we're seeing that every day when people are really looking for someone to talk to, someone to be with, especially as the holidays come, and that we're not able to be close together. But these types of platforms give us an opportunity to still really stay connected. Is it the same that we had before? No. But it is an opportunity to be able to reach out, have conversations, be connected to family and friends in ways that we are not able to do on a physical realm.
I think you just came up with your new tagline for the World AIDS Museum, where there's connection, there is power.
I like that one. Let me
You
write
came up
that
with.
one down.
I think you need to put that on your banner, because I
Yes.
think that is absolutely profound. I think that is absolutely a great way to summarize and wrap up this. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Again, December 1st, 2020, 8:30 a.m. at our own Galleria at Fort Lauderdale. Thank you all so much for. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to the morning.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
And also worldaidsmuseum.org for more information. Oh, and before I forget, Arthur always reminds me, if you want to stay on our list, text OCQ to 22828 to stay updated. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.